For Plymouth City Manager Dave Callister, there's no such thing as a typical day on the job.
Well, the city manager is responsible for running the day-to-day operations of the city. Obviously, the city council sets the policy and the direction for myself and the staff to implement the policy. But as far as the city manager's responsibility is to deal with all of the department directors and to make sure that every department is running smoothly, to work with them on solutions to problems, issues, budgets.
His road to this role began nearly 20 years ago as city administrator in various communities around the state.
Well, I had 18 years of work as a city administrator in 3 different Minnesota cities, in Gaylord, Tonka Bay, and Osseo, and then I went to the private sector back in 2004, and I spent 8 years as a financial advisor for Ehlers and Associates and provided some consultant work for communities in Minnesota, mainly in the metropolitan area.
The private sector provided valuable experiences, which he says is serving him well as Plymouth City Manager.
I think working with approximately 50 or more cities in Minnesota as a consultant, you really identify opportunities for good ideas, good programs, good process that you can incorporate and pass on to other communities. And in the case of Plymouth, I was able to bring all that experience, not just from one city, but multiple cities, to be able to find some best practices for Plymouth to be able to implement.
It's been 5 years since Plymouth was ranked America's #1 best place to live by Money magazine, and the momentum has continued since then. Dave Callister says a lot of that has to do with proactive planning.
We're budgeting now for years 2014 and 2015, and again that goes along with the long-range planning so that we have an idea where we're going, and we're not just living year after year or paycheck to paycheck. We're looking out for the future. We're setting money aside where that is the case, and we're trying to meet the needs of the community for a long period of time.
Speaking of budget, that's taking front and center stage these days.
We anticipate the preliminary budget going to the council next week, and then a preliminary levy will have to be adopted no later than September 15th. And then we will spend some time in the fall months trying to analyze the budget a little bit further and come up with a final budget for the City Council to approve in December.
Dave Callister is looking forward to what's ahead, and he's proud to be a part of the talented team in the city of Plymouth.
One thing about Plymouth, and the reason I came here, was the stability, not only with the elected officials, but with the staff in place. And it's a great bunch of people to work with, highly competent, highly professional, and that's another reason why I decided that this was a good place to be and came from the private sector back into the public sector. It had to be a special place, and Plymouth is definitely that place.